Hello, everybody. So if you want to join the voice chat to ask questions, you can do that in the Discord. Link is in the description. I think it is muted on stream, but new PC, new setup. We'll have to check if somebody jumps in. Okay, so I started figuring out this workflow a week ago, and I just wanted to record it for next time I have to do something like this. So this paper is from the Santa Fe Symposium in 2022. Yeah, it's a 2022 paper. Reviving the art, design, and technology of the mid-1920s. So what this guy did, Hugo Cole, is he went to Rhode Island and bought a bunch of tools from the late 1800s, early 1900s. And this is how they made, this is called a T-shank hub. So they would cut the blank with this. They'd put in a sheet of gold, cut the blank, and then this is the patterning die. So that would, well, actually, they cut it, and then they come down here and they pierce out. So there's a stencil for where there's going to be holes in the thing. Oh, I need to do one more thing. Okay. I haven't streamed in a while. Still figuring it out after all these years. So after they get the blank, they will pierce out the holes that need to be in it, and then it goes over to the patterning hub. And this gives the design detail that is put into it. So what you're looking at is the side of a ring, and this bottom part, they would bend around and cut off any excess depending on what finger size they were going to make it. And this top would, that would kind of bend around and become the side of the ring. So here's your shank, here's your gallery, and then they would add a head to it afterwards. And before they bend it, they have this forming jig that kind of puffs out that shoulder to give it a nice puffy look. So with the T-hub, your seam is in the center of the ring. So your seam would be right here for a T-hub. And then the other way of doing it is with an O-hub. So with an O-hub, your seam is going to be on the side, and this would be really good for having stones that are going up the shank versus having it in the center here. So I went and found this ring. I think it's this ring. And what Hugo Cole has done is he goes and rescues all this stuff, and then there's that's Hugo. I got to meet him at the Santa Fe Symposium. If you guys don't know what the Santa Fe Symposium is, you can come out here and look for papers. The links to all this stuff is in the video description. But like 2018, you can find my resin casting paper. And you can read all about resin casting and all the things that can go wrong. That's a wax print. Yep. That is a resin print that just sat out for 3 weeks and then was fine, which surprised the crap out of me. And then this is like after 12 hours of UV. Like I could never get this to cast except my control pieces that I just left off to the side, and somehow that worked. If only we could let a print sit for 3 weeks before we had to cast it. Anyways, there's lots of good papers out here on a lot of different subjects, and Eddie Bell is retiring from... Eddie Bell was the one that really spearheaded the Santa Fe Symposium at Rio, and now that he's retired, there's a new group taking the mantle, and Eddie still goes to it, and got to see Eddie this year. Let's see, it was in Minnesota. Minneapolis. Yeah, it was in Minneapolis this year. Next year, it's going to be in Detroit. I love going to this. It's just all the smartest people from the jewelry industry in one place for 4 days, and lots of great papers. So, link to this is in the description as well. So, I found the ring from Hugo's paper, and I want, like, this is just, if we could do this in CAD, this is an easy way to make a ring, because you just have to make it flat. The problem in CAD is this puffing step. You try and just puff out one little piece of it, and you're going to get all kinds of distortion right there. And that is where I figured out something to do. So I've got some starter stuff in here, so we don't have to start completely from scratch. But I'm going to go ahead, and these are the curves that are going to get me my head. So I'm going to create some layers here, and all my scripts and tools are, I think they're in the video description as well. If not, I'll add them. So we need a head. And we're not going to do the head the same as this. So the beauty of this ring is, with the T-shanks and the O-hub, you're just making the base of it, and you can see that there's a little separation line. And so you could really put whatever head you wanted to in here. So we're doing a different head because this is actually for a customer. So I've got my head layer here. I'm going to take these curves and put those onto the control, and then we'll start building this up. So in the little live stream test to see if my new PC and new version of OBS, if I had everything set up, I talked about this a little bit. I'm going to put this onto that layer, that control layer as well, that I have been making a new tool. And it is called Symmetric Curve View. And so I'm going to take, this is my control, I'm going to put it on there. And first off, this is going to be degree 1. So I'm going to make that degree 1. And then I'm going to tell it the mirror count is, let's see, I've got 1. So this is going to be a 3. No. A 4. Yes. Okay. And these red dots, I probably should rebuild a deployment build before I started streaming, because this is for me, not for you, to see these points. This is for debugging, to make sure that I'm getting the direction, like following the direction of the original curve, and that I get all the points how they're supposed to be. So yes, okay. So now I'm going to take those new things, select new, and I'm going to put those onto curves. And so I can turn off my control at this point and go into the loft. So the loft for this, I'm going to do as like this. I'm going to go from here to here to here, and just do straight sections. Straight sections, do not simplify, okay. And then I'm going to go from here, I'm going to put that onto, I've got an extra line there. So there should be an extra line on all of these, but it's only here. That's interesting. Okay. I'm going to put that onto surf, and I'm going to turn off the surf layers so I can see my curves here. Let me turn points on. Yeah, so should have had extra points here, here, and here, but it doesn't. Oh well. Rhino things, and then I want to do another loft, but this time I'm going to do not that one, this one. And maybe I'll do normal. Now I'm going to do loose because I don't want it to bow down and then up. So I'll do loose and get that slope over to there. Tell that okay. Oh, I need to reset my viewports. All right, we're going to throw that onto our surf layer. And then I just need two planar surfaces off of this. So we'll call planar surf. Take those new things, and that goes onto surf. And this is basically our head. I can turn off the curves at this point, leave the control off, select objects, group. So when I'm done with this model, I'll just join those up, take that group and join it up. So now that the head is done, I'm going to lock it. And I already did the prongs. I didn't, like I said, I've basically already done this job, but I wanted to, I'm going to save this so I can figure out how I did it later. I'm going to turn that head off, and for this I need two spacers on here. So I want one spacer that is 0.15 off the edge, and I'm going to change my active layer to my spacers. And this is going to tell me, like, does this stone collide with the stone next to it? So using 0.5, I've got 0.3 between. This stone can be, let's see what it is. Let's measure distance between this point and this point. So this is a 2mm stone, and the way I group stones is it can be 2.0 to 2.09. So when we put these two together, that could be, you know, if they're both 2.09s, and I'm measuring 0.3 between, then that ends up just being 0.12. Very close, but the girdles aren't going to touch. It's fine. So that's why I use 0.3 as my spacing. I also need a mill-grain border on here. So I'm going to add another spacer, which I've already figured this out, so I don't really need to do this, but I would do this anyway. I don't know if I did 0.5 or 0.4. It just depends on how much mill-grain you want. Oops, I didn't click. So I'm going to take this, and first thing I'm going to do is mirror left to right. And then I want this to be on all four sections, so my spacing is correct. I can turn the head on here and see that I must have done 0.4, not 0.5. And then I'm going to take this and do a polar array off of 0. Whoops. Polar array off of 0. Number of items, 4. Out to 360. Okay. So that gives us our head, and I'll just have the setter do some, the whole thing's going to be, you know, kind of engraved when it's done. So I'll just have him do some flourishes back here to get rid of this flat dead space. Had to use the customer stones. This is what they had, so that's what we're going with. That's the size we're going with. It'll work out fine, because we can take care of this little spot, but he doesn't have any tiny ones, and yeah, one of those things. So that is the head done, and then I can take these guys, let's put them in a group, and I'm going to put that on head control as well. Oop. I don't want them on head control, but the layer I normally put them on is gone. Oop. Unlock. Usually I have another layer under here for blocks. Switch that back over to working. Select children. Oh, I want to turn the spacers off. Oh, I screwed up. Undo, 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 undo. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to make one for blocks. Make that a white color. Go back here, turn spacers off, grab this guy, select children, and then set this onto our blocks layer. Okay. It still moved that over. Crazy. Even though I had it off doing select children, it still edited them because they were in a block. They were in a group. So let's do this. Isolate and ungroup. So now there's still groups. All right, I need to fix that script. Remove from group. All this, get it out of a group. Then we can turn the spacers off. Select all children. Put that onto blocks. I feel like that's a new behavior for Rhino, because usually when you turn something off, you could change the groups without. Anywho, take all that, put it into one big group, and unisolate. Okay, now we can lock those so we don't mess them up. The prongs, I should probably do the same thing. We can turn off control, junk, curves, lock. Oop. And now that's finished. All right, moving on. That's the easy part. Now we get to the hub profile. So if you look at this, what I'm doing is I'm trying to like I'm cheating here, like each side. I'm cheating this edge a little bit. I'm going a little bit on this side so that I can meet it up here at the corner. And if you've spent a lot of time in Rhino flowing stuff and you say, okay, well, yeah, you did that. Let's do a what on this. What? This is 5.7. Okay. What? 3.4. You know, all of these are different. If you try and do a loft between here, okay, and I'm not going to do loose. I'll just say normal. No, I do want it to be loose because Rhino will still do Rhino things. Okay, tell it loose. All right, and I say intersect. And then I'm going to create a UV surface from that. And I'm not sure which way is which, but we'll just do like that. And so from right here is the center of the finger. So I'm going to put a circle here. Oop, right here is the center of the finger. And it's going to be something like that. I'll take this intersection curve and flow from here to there. And I had it the wrong way around. Rotate off of here. Okay. Now you can kind of see how much deformation we're getting because of how this surface ended up being. And so if I try and make this ring flat and put all this detail on here, it's just going to be a nightmare of stretching and like just terrible. Like this will be a terrible, terrible, terrible way to go. So let's move this down here. There's a nice island to work off of. So we're not going to do it like that. We're going to delete this. And we're going to delete this. What I'm going to do instead is I've made these curves. Let me turn off my reference image and hide that. What I did is I made these, go away. I made these equidistant apart, just covering the space we need. So we need to go from here. It's a little bit past on the bottom, but that doesn't matter. I've got these equally spaced, and I'm going to use a little feature of Rhino that I don't think a lot of people know about, which is rebuild without delete. And I say a lot of people don't know about it because this is a feature request that I asked for, and it never got like a lot of promotion, but this thing is wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down to like a 2, and I'm going to look at my max deviation here, and it's going to check on each one of them, and the one that's furthest apart. So if we rebuild 210, we're going to get a lot of deviation. I'm going to take this up until I have very little deviation. So there we go. So 20 points. And we've got 2 zeros of deviation. That sounds pretty good. And because I'm not deleting the input, tell it OK. I'm going to take those newly created. Actually, we should make a layer for this. I'm going to call this OHub. And grab those new things. And that is going to go onto my curves layer. Turn those off. And then these guys are going to go onto my control layer. Now, this is a layout layer, not a so really turn those off, grab these guys, set layer. This is layout curves. We can just go ahead and delete that. So now I've got these curves that I can do a loft on. Tell it loose, do not simplify, OK. And now I've got equal spacing all the way across this thing. So that when I intersect this, and let's unhide this guy right here and take that curve and flow it from here to there. Whoop. Take that curve, flow from there to there, and let's scale this up to kind of match. Maybe that wasn't centered on there. No, it wasn't. So let's do this. Oh, I want to take that and throw that onto our OHub surf. Now these curves that are rebuilt, I never need to touch them again. They're done. If I need to change the shape, I use my control curves, which doesn't matter. Like I've got these points jumbled up, these points jumbled up. No matter where I move this point, my isocurve spacing remains. What's a good term for it? My isocurve spacing is uniform, I guess. So I have a very editable set of curves that gives me a flow surface with the minimum amount of deviation possible. What was I doing? Oh, I was getting that centered. Okay. So I'm going to turn off those curves because I never need to touch them again. And I'm going to lock the surface for now. Let's see. Let's draw a line from mid right here to tab lock to there. Okay. So there's a line from mid. I'm going to set this Z down to the end of there. I'm going to grab all three of those curves, hide that. Grab all three of those curves and say distribute. Spacing automatic on the Z axis. Did it do it? Divide into 4. Divide into 3. I wonder why distribute did not divide that. Room here to, this isn't even in the right spot. I swear, I copied this from a finished thing. Did I move it? Oh, I think distribute worked not the way I thought it was going to. Yeah, that's what happened. I distributed along the wrong axis. I told it Z, but it must have done it like this. Maybe because it was using the C plane. So Z would be this way if I did it in this window. It should use world though. That's kind of confusing. So let's see. I'm going to undo a bit because I had that all worked out already. And it's not hard to redo, but I'm not going to undo it. It's not hard to redo. So we want this to have the same Y as that. This to have the same Y as that. And then this one, they should be the same Y, but it was too big to begin with. Let's see. So this thing is going to taper. Why can't I grab a curve? There we go. And then this thing should probably be a little bit puffy. Let's look at our reference picture. So, I mean, this one is straight up, but a lot of times it's just a little bit puffy right there to the finger. And, well, you can make it however you want. I think I'm going to make it this way. And I can turn these points on, and I can make it puffy here, but not over here. I can give this more of a straight section. I've got stones to lay out over here, so we'll see how that goes. They're tapered, so this I may regret not undoing here and going with the one I already figured out. So this little demonstration of how little deformation we get, let's go ahead and kill that. And then we can move on to the next part. So this is going to go onto our OHub surf. And I don't think we're going to need that. You know, we'll just stick it on 0 for reference. So we can kind of see where our finger rail is. Okay, so next, let's, that is our OHub profile. There's nothing left on there. Nope, so we'll kill that. We'll kill head starter. No. What is left on head starter? Select sublayer objects. Oh, the stone. That needs to go onto our blocks. Then I can delete that one. Shank profile. So I've got a tapered stone layout that's going to go here. And I've got a couple of curves. So let's do a new layer and call this shank outer and inner. It'll handle both of them just fine. So this and this is going to go onto our shank control. Okay, and now these guys need to flow from our base layer to our finger size. So the finger size on this is a 9.5, lock 0, so I don't actually touch anything. And what we need to do now, we got a thunderstorm coming, is do a blend between there and there. We get that curve. I think I like it the other way around. Yeah, because I can control, yep. And then I will do another blend from there to, where's the other one? There. Yep. Okay. Take this and this and this. Now, so we're going to put these onto a junk layer. This doesn't help us out too much on their own. We need to join these together without breaking history. And the tool for that is another one of my feature requests, join copy. So I took those two curves, this one and this one. Let's isolate that so we don't have to keep picking them out of a crowd. Let's turn this OHub layout off. So now we've got this and this. These are joined together without breaking history, so that if I'll turn on these two, so that if I edit this curve, it updates. But this is still it's a polycurve because there's a seam right there, but it's a single joined curve. So I'm going to undo that and then take this and this and do the same thing we did with rebuild, turning delete input off. And now I can make it degree 3, and I don't need nearly that many points. All right, 10 is fine. I still got 2 zeros, or 13. Span count of 10. Okay, we're going to go with 13. Tell it OK. And we're going to take those new curves, and we're going to put those onto the curves layer. And we're going to take these curves and put them, you know, I can just turn curves off. These curves are going onto junk. So when I put something on junk, I really never need to see it again. And these two, these two are junk because if we want to edit them, we'd edit them over there. Junk. And we may want to edit these blends. So I'm going to put those onto control so that if we go to curve blend edit, we can click on it and, you know, make this whatever we want it to be. Let's turn our control off and turn the curves on. So now I've got these curves. Let's pull our OHub back up. Oh, dang it. I should have done this to begin with. Mistakes. Mistakes were made. Okay. Yep, I'm going to go back. I didn't finish something with the OHub. I want the control curves. These guys. Now, this is the outer surface. I need the inner surface. So I'm going to take this curve and I'm going to offset it. And my wall thickness up top needs to be, I don't know, 0.8, 0.9, something like that. And this is just a starting point. I'm going to say loose, yes. And then this one, you know, I'm not going to go out that far. Offset loose. Let's go 0.75. And then as it gets closer to the finger rail, we'll have it be a millimeter. So I'm going to do offset loose on this one. Take that up to a millimeter. And then offset loose this one. Let's take that to 1.5. I just want to make sure it crosses the middle line here. Which I think, yeah, it will. And this one, let's 1.5. Doesn't matter. Like, these are just straight lines. I don't really care to keep those. But let's do a little fixing here because offset loose is a wonderful tool. So I'm going to go ahead and break history on this. And let's see, we want this to be the same Y as that. And we can bring that in. This needs to go over here. This needs to go over there. Let's see, all these need to be I'm going to do a straight offset, not offset loose, and just say 0.75, and I'm just going to trace it out. So that's 0.75. I'll lock it. And let's isolate so we have a clear view here of what's going on. Points on. Set this all to there. Oh, this guy just needs to come out, so we force that bend to be a little bit more in line. And it doesn't really matter. Oh, this does matter. This needs to be the same Y as this. Okay, close enough. And remember, this is the inside of the ring, so if we want to make this radius a little bit smoother, that's fine. We can do that. But the point is, it's going to be a 3/4 of a millimeter wall thickness. So now that we've done that, I'm going to unlock this reference curve and go ahead and delete it. Turn everything back on. Then we're going to take this and this and this and this. These are going to go onto the control. Change object layer, OHub control. One moment, please. Okay. Oh, and the other thing we need to make sure of is that all of these are on this this plane, because we're doing this whole front face, but we're only doing half of it because Rhino. So I just need to make sure that all of these guys, you know what, I can just say select sub objects or select objects. Let's isolate those, points on, and we're just going to make sure that all of these are on. We can turn lock off for this. All of these are on the 0 for X. And these all should have the same Y. These all need to be at the same X. So let's see, our outside is here. That is the X that we want to be on. When we offset it, went a little bit to the side. No, this one was just off. That distribute, man, I really wish I would have undone. So set all these to the same X. We're going to go with that one. Okay. That may be why we got, we may have less stretching here now because that one was pushed in. Our reference circle may actually be better than we thought. But these are very easy to edit. So if you want it to be a little more thick or less thick, you can now do that as the sidewall comes down. We need to check that this one, we're going to mirror across here. Like we're going to mirror this across to there. So if this is not at the same Y, which it's not right now, you can see that there's a kink. That'll give us a bad surface. So we want that to be there, and we want that to be there. Offset is not going to give us that, so we will do it by hand. Just this should all be, yeah. Distribute may have moved some things, but it shouldn't have moved individual points. These should all have the right relationship still. Okay, Now we have tangency over there, so I'm going to ungroup that and then delete it. Okay. And then we need to do one more loft on this side. And we'll do loose. Oh, I need to do my rebuild first. So we are going to rebuild. And so I was much more worried about the outside matching. It's okay for this to have like a smooth, so I'm not going to make it as tight here. I do want to like not have a lot of deviation. That should be good. Tell it okay. Yep. And now those new curves, select new, put those onto the curves layer. And I can turn off control, go to curves, and now this is what I'm going to use for the loft. Loose, do not simplify, and that can go onto surface. Sorry, I forgot to do this one earlier. So now we can go back to our shank. All right, so this is the outside surface, so that needs to go to here. So I'm just going to go to the front. I'll say project. Did I use project or project loose? Let's try loose and see how that does. I'm going to do it again with project not loose. And look at these two curves for a second, because I'm not sure. I tend to like using loose whenever possible. But if there's a huge difference, it doesn't look like there is. There's so many control points on that one that the loose should be fine. Curve deviation. Yeah, maximum deviation 0.001. That's fine. That is absolutely fine for me. If you have different Rhino settings, so if I go to units here, my absolute tolerance is 0.01. The default for Rhino small object millimeters is 0.001. 0.01 is enough for jewelry. We are not, like, this shape that we're making is not going to, you know, finite element analysis where they check and see, you know, how much wind is going across it and if there's drag. Like, we are not modeling to that type of precision. We're going to a printer or a CNC mill that's going to introduce way more than 0.001 deviation on the part. You know, a printer prints in voxels that's 0.03 millimeters, and there's a big storm rolling through here, and I may lose power. The lights are flickering. So when we're printing in 0.03 millimeter cubes, what's the point of having 0.001 tolerance? It just makes everything heavier. And if you don't know what tolerance does, this is whether or not something... When Rhino asks itself, does this touch this? Well, the answer is not yes or no. It's, well, is it within the tolerance? So if I'm trying to use a curve as a trimming curve, does this curve intersect the surface? And if so, where? Having a looser absolute tolerance. And Rhino 0.01 is like, if we print in 0.03 voxels, why not just do... There's really no change after 0.01. I've tried. You would think it would make everything lighter and faster and speedier, because... but it doesn't. So 0.01 is what I go with. So when I'm looking at these two and the deviation between them is 0.001, loose is just fine. So I'm going to undo project and go back to my loose version. I like that. If you look at the not loose version, that's just a ball of nasty. You don't want anything to do with that. So we'll go with loose. And then for the underside of our shank, that needs to be on this one. Excuse me. So I will go to project loose. And I got to get my C-plane here and then pick the inside one. And there we go. So that is the inside of the shank and the outside of the shank. And take that and mirror it to the other side. And I'm going to ungroup those. So now we can turn our layout off. And these are going to go onto our curves layer. Set layer, shank curves. Expand that back out. And now I just need to loft to get the surfaces between them. So let's go here, here. Oh, here, here. I was checking to see if it was right side out, inside out, or right side up. So my display mode here tells me that I'm looking at the outside of a surface. When I did it the other way, I think it was this one. This is the inside of a surface. That is the outside of a surface. And it matters for flowing these stones on. So yeah, I'll do it on purpose. I'm going to take this one, get it inside out. And now I've got a curve here that defines the center of it. So if I want to put these stones on, I'm going to say flow, curve. Let's see, I want rigid with stretching, so I'll pick that one and go to that curve. And the right side up. Even though that's, oh, because I didn't use the surface. Doi. Sometimes you want to use this, also one of my feature requests. Rigid with stretch. Target surface, this one. And now they're upside down. Why would you want to use the target surface? Well, I never use flow surface for stone layout because then I lose this nice even spacing. You know, it's spaced over here. This curves in, so that's why I gave it a little less space on this one. I lose this spacing that I get from flow curve when I use flow surf. But the problem with the curve is I'm going to, yeah, I can just take when you start rotating things, especially well, it's upside down, so you can't really tell, but oh, because I did. It'd be better if I showed you this without using target surface. Since I use target surface, all these stones are going to point straight to the surface. They're not going to twist. Not going to twist. If you use flow curve without a target surface, it's just going to twist randomly around the curve as they get laid out. Giving it a Z direction to go off of means that your world Z, like pointing up, will always point up according to the surface. We're not going to bend or twist, so I don't need any of that. I can just do a regular flow surf or flow curve. Stretch. We're not going to use the target surface because our surface is inside out. And let's see. Spacing is... Did the spacing get worse? I thought it was almost pretty good. Let's get the spacing right. I want these two to touch. That'll give me a 0.3 millimeter gap. So I'm just going to do this until they touch. Okay, now I've got 0.3 spacing there, but not enough spacing over here and over here. And that's because this curve is not in the right spot. So I'm going to undo those changes I just made. And let's set the Z to here. And I want these to be 0.35 under the surface. There we go. And now let's look. Yep, I had already figured it out. So it's a little bit off, but that's close enough. Because when they come in, they'll look about the same as that one. Okay. I also need to put on here, so I'm going to make spacers. These curves. Select children. Those are going to go onto spacers. This, I need another layer right here for shank. And that is a light gray color. And these select children. Those are going to go on to blocks. What was I doing? Let's take a 3-minute recess. I want to get a glass of water. Any questions so far? Grabbing water. I left it. Oh, here it is. Okay, start typing questions. No questions so far? I must be over-explaining everything then. Oh, spacers. I changed it to the spacer layer so that we could make sure that we have... let's see. Let's measure the distance. Yeah, let's measure the distance between here and here, because that's kind of what I want my... So I was doing 0.4. I did 0.5 up there, but this model I'm using 0.4 millimeter edges. Thank you, Anaz. All right, so I'm going to say 0.4, and we'll offset that, and offset that. And this is, because these taper, this is my guide to say, like, how much space I have through here. So now I did those spacers. We'll go back to working and lock that. And we can lock our blocks. And now I need to get this. Doesn't need to be perfect, right? But we kind of want it to be. If we can make it perfect, make it perfect. It doesn't need to be. A lot of things can be will be hidden by a graver, and when we cut the mill grain on this, slight imperfections will go away. All right, so to change this shape, we go back to... So for my shank, I'm going to turn off control, curves, and we just have this surface here. Did I put that onto? Let me go back to shaded. Okay, there we go. Now to edit this, we go back to our OHub, And I'm going to grab this guy. Select parents. Hide that because I'm dealing with the outside edge of this surface. Okay, so it was projected onto here. So if I want to change something, now I can turn curves off and just have the control. Grab these points. If I want to change something, I can move this and it will get wider or skinnier. You know, how the surface goes through here is what's going to define that edge. So it looks like we're perfect right there. We're a little wide right there. And then we're a little too wide over there. So this is not going to be mirrored to the other side. So I don't really care if this has tangency. If I move this over, that's affecting down here more than up there. So I don't want to do that. I would need to adjust it right here, but right here is the problem. We are trying to match up with our head. And I'm cheating a little bit on this side to get it to over there. So I think I can move it over just a little bit, maybe. Yeah. So how do we make that bulge? I bet it's like this point is if we bring that in. Yeah, bring that in. Okay, we're touching there. We're getting close there. We overdid it down there, which we can bring this out maybe. Bring these two out. No. Bring them in. Okay, so these two are having more of an effect up here and less of an effect down here. These two looking good, looking good. Bring this out a little. Now it's straight. It's a little bit too wide, but at least it's straight. And we could even make this continue tapering if we want to go lower. Ideally, you take and draw your ideal curve. So something like that. And I'll move that out in front. Okay. So a little too narrow. Move the thing over here so I can edit and look at it close up. Okay, so that's ideal. We can keep that in mind for editing this. And let's see, we're too narrow right there. So that's this one. And we'll bring that out a little bit. Bring that in. And you know what? Actually, this, yeah, we can bring that in more because it's not touching on the corner there. We don't need this to line up exactly. One of the things that they do on these models to cover this seam is they put like a little gap right there. And we're going to do that too. Like I'm never going to make this match up exactly. We're just going to cut this groove in it to kind of hide the fact that we're not matching up exactly. So as long as this is close, I'm fine with that. This border is not wide enough right there, so I'm going to fix that and then just move on, because the rest of this, I mean, we're replicating a handmade thing. The original wasn't, their handmade one wasn't, you know, exactly perfect because it was made by hand in steel a century ago. So why am I being pedantic and worrying about this? Okay, delete it. That's good enough for our side profile. That will hold our stones, have enough room for mill grain. And then we are not perfect through here, but that's fine. This is, we're going to have that little cutter go through there, and in 3D Coat, I can build this up a little bit or something. It's going to be close enough to match. Okay. Next. Turn all this on and then turn our control curves back off. For the inside, shank curves. Oh, I already projected that, so we just need to loft that as well. We're going to go from there to there. And that is our inside finger surface. Set layer shank surf. Okay. Oh, I didn't get this lined up with the finger rail. I need to do that real quick. That is important. So we can turn OHEB off and look back at our shank layout. Where is it? Control. Okay. So this guy is a little short. It's coming off the finger. I'm just going to get it a rough match so I can show you the next thing. Oh, you know, I also did this just to show you guys that I could edit that loft or that blend. I'm getting scatterbrained. Okay, let's turn off our blocks and just take a look at this. All right, so we're coming here. We're a little bit off the finger. That is this bottom curve. Need to bring that up more so it stays on the finger until, you know, it should probably be at the same length as this one. No, that's why I did it. I want it to get thin. I'm setting stones here, so I need to have, I'm just going to do a little, I need to have like 1.3 thickness, which is probably where that original line came from. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it. 1.3. And then down here, my shank thickness is 1.8. So this curve, I'm going to offset 1.8. And these are just going to be guide curves. Okay. So I want this to be like gradually going from this thickness to that thickness. And you can edit that blend. And let's click that and that. Let's see. I'll make that go down to there. Nope. The misclicks. And now we're gradually losing thickness as we get up to that point. And it's not quite there. There. Okay. Now we're gradually losing thickness as we go up to our minimum where we can still set stones in it. So these little guide curves I can throw away now, but that's how we get our inside thickness. let's look at how this is going to work out. So I will take, at the very end, I will take this surface and this surface, and I will copy them. I'll just copy them to the clipboard. Hide those, paste, change object layer to shank surf, break history on it. So these no longer have history. And then I'm going to take this curve, and it doesn't go all the way to the edge. I should fix that. I should take this and bring it up all the way to the edge. Move to edge. And this one too. Move along this line. Tab lock to this edge. That changed that a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much because I just moved it a fraction. So now I can take this curve and say trim this side. And then for the inside, I can take this curve and trim that. Isolate this. Oh, we need to take our finger size. So I'll unlock that. And this one, that one was trim without intersections. This is going to be trim with intersection because it's not touching. Cut out both of those. So we want to mirror this all the way around and then mirror these two just one time. Turn off the head. And now we have our inside, outside. We've got the hollow. We've got everything all in one off of that 4 curves that turned into 8 curves. To adjust that, we've got 2 curves that we're blending. I can turn the head back on. Turn our stones back on. And these guys, are they locked? They are locked. Mirror those over to the other side. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I will also take my base layer, copy that to the clipboard, hide it, paste it, change that object layer, change that object layer to surf, and then use this to cut out. So I'm going to trim without apparent intersections, that way it doesn't do something. Okay, it didn't like that one, because I got to give it a line across. Let's grab this inside group. Well, actually, I'll just do this. I'll draw a line from turn off our head. Let's see, where is that intersecting? I need, oh, it doesn't actually intersect. I'll just go for where it looks like it's intersecting. Extract ISO curve. Like right about here. Mirror that to the other side. So I'm getting way ahead of myself. I want to take that. Actually, that would be the place to do it. Why are there 2 surface edges? Oh, because this guy. That is where I should do it. Yeah. Extract ISO curve. Why am I not getting an end snap on there? I can get it if I look at it on this side. There's some new behaviors in Rhino, and I'm not happy about them. Okay, so this needs to be cut away with this. Oop, not isolate, show. This, and this. Grab that, and then trim out this center part. Trim without projecting. Okay. There. Now you've got your cutout, and in 3D Coat, I'll like make that a nice fillet. I'm not going to do it in Rhino because that'll take forever. And then for this surface, we need to take the same curve, which is gone now because we trimmed it. We'll pull an ISO curve off of this. That's right there. And just mirror that to the other side. I am putting the cart before the horse. I would never do this until I was sure that I don't want history anymore. Okay, this is getting difficult to look at. Trim. You know what? Split with ISO. I didn't need to draw those ISO curves. Delete that. Delete that. Mirror. Yeah. So that's what we get when we're done. I'm going to undo all that because I would not go to this point until I was done. If I had to make an adjustment right here, I can't because I broke history. This is like the last step. I just was trying to show you guys, like, you're getting your hollow, you're getting all this stuff for free with this workflow. So I'm going to undo back to before I started doing all that. There. So everything still has history on it. If I do this, it's got history. That's got history. This is pretty close, but we're going to wait to finish it. All right, so I've got the head done. I've got the side profile done. Really, I just need to do the cutouts. So let's go to my next little pre-prepared thing. And I've got this little panel artwork. I'm going to make this somewhere else. So I'm going to move this, like, I just need a little island to work off of over here. And this is going to be my version of this, couple of leaves, couple of vines, and then it'll just be framed in there. So let's take and set this all to here. And then we're going to need a couple of different layers to go off of. I think what I want to do is we'll just put in, this is the center of the plane. We'll just put in like this. And I think I'll need 3 of these. So that I'll hide this. I'm going to flow from there to there. I'm not going to need to break history on this, but if I did need to, this is why I flow like that. And then let's make a layer for side panel 1. And this is going to go onto the layout for that. Yep, here we are. Set layer, side panel 1 surf. I can turn that off and start making these different things. Should they all be on the same layer? No. That would get... If I just want to isolate them, I want to have like 3 different things here. So I'm going to make another layer. Leaf 1, leaf 2, leaf 3, scroll 1, scroll 2. I don't need all of this. And all of these guys can live underneath the side panel. Do them one at a time here. Okay. So this is going to go on leaf 1 control. And I can turn this side panel off so they go away as soon as I get them on a layer. This is leaf 2 control, leaf 3 control. I didn't move that one where it should be. And then we've got scroll 1 and scroll 2. Okay, now they've got different colors and they're going to be easier to work with. All right, so for the shape of this, I have to do it open like this because, like the quick little stream I did earlier today, there was a hole in the center, so I could make this loop of UVs. But if these points were touching, I couldn't just have it go up and over with loft. I have to do it like this, where it's open on each side, but I'm going to go loft here, here, here. And we'll do loose, do not simplify. That is leaf 1. Surf. And then we'll loft this one. I'm going to do all the lofts and then do all the set layers. Okay, that's leaf 2. Leaf 3. This is scroll 1. That's scroll 2. Okay, now I just need to worry about the bottom. So I'm going to turn all the surfaces off. We'll just hide them for now. I'll just bum rush my way through this. I'm just going to do a curve blend between those two. Both tangency, okay. Then I'll grab all of those and just extrude them down. So this is going to give me a surface to blend off of. I'll show you on one, but I'm not ready to do it yet because I'm going to do this when it gets in place. But this is going to be a blend surf, from there to there. And it looks like I need to do a little bit of work. This is too close together. Edit. Let's bring that out to more of a point and then do blend surf. And for the tiny cap on a leaf, that's good enough. We just need to get it closed. So I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do it at the end. Oh, I know what the problem is. On our layout for the side panel, this is supposed to be much closer to the bottom. Turn lock off. So our window, I made that wall thickness 0.75 at the top. So let's see what our Z size is on this. So our Z is 0.86. I need to get that up to be less than 0.75 because I want it to be inset in that window. I don't want to make it too thin. Well, let's think. Probably bump this up like 0.25 maybe. So that gives us a Z height of 626 and a window that's 0.75 thick. Yeah, like a tenth shallower. That should be good. Move this down a little bit so we get a square bottom with a round top. Check our height again. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, turn that layout stuff off. Let me try that blend again. Yeah, that's fine. But not yet, too soon. So these guys, I can just throw them all onto a junk layer. They can all be on the same junk layer. We'll just put them on side panel junk. They just need to flow over to the other surface when it goes. And then these can go onto the control for each leaf. Leaf 1 control, leaf 2 control, leaf 3 control, scroll 1, scroll 2. Okay. Oh, my names are getting too long. We're going to abbreviate this. This is going to be side panel 1 so that I can see what my layer names are down here. Okay, that's scroll 2. I did not put, you know, control Control. Control. Okay, so the misclicks are killing me today. Now that we've got all that done, we don't need to see any of this. So I'm going to turn that stuff off. Oops. Where's scroll one? Leave 3. I know it's boring organizing things, but I plan on using this again and coming in here without this stuff being organized and trying to reuse it. No, I will not remember. Like, I'm making this video because I know I won't remember this workflow a year from now. If I don't have good organization on these layers where I can't, change this pattern quickly, or I may not even be doing this style ring, but I just want this pattern again. I do that all the time, is go through old models and look for something I built where I know I can quickly edit this into something else. Okay. And now we just need a cutter to cut out the window. Yeah. All right, I drank some water, and that means now it's time to go to the bathroom. That's how that works. All right, let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back to the other side panel, flow it into place, and that's it. We're about done. We're in the home stretch. So, all right, 5-minute break. Talk to you guys in a second. Okay, so let's get back to it with the next side panel. We've got this that I will take and move to another island. Doesn't matter where. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get the Z for these all to be flat on the table. That's kind of the shape for my cutout over there. Select sub-objects. One curve added to selection. Okay, so this needs to go onto side panel 1. And then I can delete that. Did I get everything off of Shank profile? Turn everything on. Select objects, nothing added, delete it, undo, turn everything on. Okay. So let's go ahead and create layers for this. It's pretty much going to be the same thing. I think these petals aren't overlapping each other like this one. I don't think I'm going to have any problem putting all those on the same. I think all of this can be on the same layer. It's not going to, you know, when I was setting up this scroll, I just wanted to see the scroll by itself. I didn't want to have a bunch of other curves in the way. But for this, I think just one layer will do it. So I'm just going to make SP2, side panel 2. And then all of this is going on to control. And then I need like these 3 again. So make sure I just get those, copy, paste, and move that over here. Needs to be a little bit bigger than the other one. Move from there, tab lock to there. And then I can take and put this into the frame. Okay. This frame, I'm just going to turn off. I'll need that for when I get to the next part. So I'm going to flow surf from there to there. Grab the new stuff. Flow surf from there to there. Oop. Grab the new stuff. Flow surf from there to there. Okay. And I can put these onto SP2. And let's rename that SP1. Now we just go around doing our lofts. Okay. Throw those onto surfs. Turn the surfs off while we do the blend curves. And that can be flat and that can be flat because it's going to be covered up on this end. These go under control. Actually, let's just make sure all of those are on control. We'll drag that down. We'll put a parent junk layer on here. Just to keep it the same structure as this one. Thinking about things like that. for when you come into a file years from now and being able to find things. It really helps to do things consistently. And it may take a little bit longer now to do this kind of organization and put everything. But I'm going to copy paste this into something else. So this extra effort that I'm doing now, it pays off. I can't tell you how many times I go and open a file and copy paste what's there into a new CAD job. And then I've got, full history. That's got history. If I decide like the base needs to be thicker, I'm going to turn lock off and move this out. And now I can make this whole base be thicker than what it is, or make the top of it thinner, whatever the case may be. I can do all this kind of stuff because I am consistent. Turn lock back on. Make sure this guy can't move now. Yep, okay. I still have my history. And this should blend just fine. Yeah, that'll make a nice little stubby. This can be flat because we're going to put a pistol in the center of this. Just insert cylinder off of the center. And we just need to cover up the ends of the leaves. And the height on this is going to be 0.75. The flowers, the petals will be lower than the edge. But this, move, snap to the bottom. It can be a little bit taller because it's going to be in the center. I want the edges to be below the frame. This can be a little bit above. Maybe that's too much above, but... And then we'll just do a fillet edge on there. Default radius of 1 is always too big for everything we do. Set all 0.2. Let's preview that. Yeah, I think I set it too low. That's fine. We can take this and this and bring it up. And then kind of center it inside of here. Set surf, or set layer on the surf. And there we go. So that's ready to go to flow into place. Okay. Now we've got a couple of options here for flowing this. I think what I want to do is make the cutout and use the cutout surface as a flow surface. So those cutout layers, what did I put it on? Junk? Yeah, that and that. I'm going to make copies of those, paste, and then bring them over here. So this one, that's the bottom of my finger rail. It's probably going to go right up. Well, let's see. Let's move this like right there. Yes, I will keep this video up. YouTube just doesn't do a good job of showing live videos. So if I go to youtube.com channel, I think I'm eMarvets. Yep, that's me. Hey, look, he's live right now. If you go to videos, you won't see like any of these live streams. You have to click the live tab. So this is the little test stream I did earlier where I showed my symmetric editing tool and my what's it called? My Omni Fixo soldering station. I love this thing. You just don't see them on YouTube proper. You have to go to live. But yeah, I keep them up. Like all the live streams that I've done are still up here. I think I only took one down, and that's because it just ended up being so trash. Like the thing I wanted to try out just did not work at all, that I took it down. But other than that, like these, I don't know. Like this it got 841 views. If I look at like the regular video where I did it 9 years ago, there's 12,000 views on that one. YouTube just doesn't push out live videos, but I don't have an editor. I don't have time to sit there and edit a video. So I like doing it live. People can ask questions. They just don't get the views that regular videos do. I don't know why. Live streams used to get a lot of views. Some of these were done live. Yeah, I guess that was the only live one that's... Well, this isn't all videos. This is just popular ones. But yeah, it's up there. I didn't think I would need it anymore, but that intersect, I think I do want it. So I'm going to offset NC plane. So I've got NC plane. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to say like 0.8. Yeah. Let's just see how this looks when I flow to here. Move this up to like there. Okay. I think that works out perfect. So if my window goes all the way up and then turn this reference image off. So if I do that, I need a pipe separator. I need to cut out between the two. Go back to the reference image here. Are there two of those now? Oh, I accidentally got two of them. That's why it was funky. So really, I need to go 0.4 down from the top, and that's where I'm going to put this little cutout. So let's turn our head, unlock our head, and grab our control and our curves. And I'm going to grab one of them, one control, this guy. We can ungroup that. This guy, and select its child. Okay. Copy those to the clipboard, and through the magic of copy-paste history, we can take that one and move it down, and it moves with it. So this needs to go onto a cutter layer. Let's put it on cutters for head. Cutters, head. I usually don't do control. And that with... but now we can take that and do a pipe. And like, I don't know, let's do 0.2 for the diameter on this pipe. Okay. And now the top of this needs to be 0.4 off of So let's do this. Let's grab that control. Let me turn the head. Let me lock the head so I don't change the wrong thing. Lock that. Okay. I'm going to take that and move it. We're going to move up to move down. All right, so now it's flush with the top of it, and I want to go minus 0.4. So I have that consistent mill grain, and then that's going to be through there. And let's look. We need a little bit of a border before this cutout. So this cutout can't be that big. Unfortunate. So what are my options here? I can make the top slightly taller or redo all the leaves. I think I'm going to make the top slightly taller. So to do that, make sure lock is on. I'm going to unlock the head. I need my stones. I need my prongs and their flow. Yeah, I'm going to use the all on script. Just turn everything in the file on. And I'm going to grab everything except these. Okay, for the side shank. I didn't get these somehow. Okay. Let's see. So I want to have 0.4 of a millimeter between the bottom of this and the top of this. So I'm going to move this up from there to there. And then we'll use the gumball to go the rest of the way up. So I'm going to go 0.4. No. That's not going to work the way I thought it would. I can't let this be the bottom of that because this is in line with that. This is where we make that transition between having like a curvy side and a square top. This cutout is going to hide this joint. So I can't move it up. It has to be here. This pipe has to be here right along the top edge of this surface so that when it cuts out, it hides this. So I need to move this down. Let's see. I'm going to take this and say set Y to here. Minus 0.4. Let's flow this into place and just see how it looks. Flow there to there. Okay. The bottom of this needs to match, which we can turn points on and just line our gumball up like that and change it over to snappy drag. And I think intersect will cover it. I don't want near on. Yep. And then we just make sure this is at the same Y as this, and then bring it back or forth until we match that line right there. Okay, so now we've got a cutout. This guy, we also need to go 0.4 that way, so I'm going to say minus 0.4. So we have a 0.8 pillar in the center. And then now this doesn't need to match the Y. Snappy dragging off. So we can do something like that. And then let's move this into place. So I'm just going to align this with that and scale 1D to get this to the finger. Okay, this curve is way too complicated, so let's I'm going to do I'll just draw a line. This one minus point. What did I do? Minus 0.8. And I'm going to draw another line. Did I make sure that this lines up with... Yeah, I did. Okay. So this needs to go like right in here. Let's rotate. Well, it can narrow a little bit. That's not the issue. Let's scale this down. Explode this and simplify this a little bit. These curves are too complicated. Ungroup. Ungroup. Okay. So let's rebuild this 2, 3. Let's rebuild this 1, 2. Oh, I've got delete input off. That's like undo, rebuild. Okay. Rebuild. We're deleting input like normal. 2, 3. 1, 2. Rebuild 2, 3. That is 2, 3. That is 2, 3. Okay. And then we'll take and move this up to there. Oops. Set X, Y to there. You know what? I need to get this side profile onto our thing as well. So I'm going to flow curve or flow surf from there to there. And this can be... Okay, this has to be wider because we've got stones being set on this side. So, well, let's just see how this looks. I'm going to join this all back up. Join. And then we're going to flow surf. Interesting. So this point doesn't go all the way to the top. It stops right there. And I think that would actually be good. Yeah, because we can bring it over if we bring it... Well, how do we do this? Their side panel goes over farther. That's what we need. I edit here, look here. And then this can go down. Okay, I think that's what we need to do. Something like this. So that's cut out for one window. And then this guy. Let's take and offset this. Yeah, we're going to need to do about one. And then let's get this to fit in here. Yep, that's still a valid guideline. Okay, we're going to lock our guides. And then get this into shape. So points on. Ooh. Hide that for a minute. Set XY to there. All of this needs to come in. This kind of needs to split the difference between both sides. There's different. They don't have to worry about cutouts for stones. We do. So, as much as I was wanting to keep it like faithful to the original, maybe we do it differently. I don't know. Let's see how this looks when we float to that back side. Flow, surf there, and let's hit the inside. Okay, and now I'm going to turn off that layout. Remember, this is going to be the this is the inside of our shank. So if we just cut out this window, we're just going to be, cutting into a block of metal. See, if you were to look through that hole, you would still see this block of metal behind there. So we want that to shift over a little bit. Undo back to there. Okay, so we're going to need a separate version for the inside. So let's take this. Unlock. No, I don't want any of that. Let's take this, copy it, paste it, and move it over. You know what? Let's rotate it over. Rotate with copy off of 0. Go from this side to that side. What is this? What am I looking at here? This should all be flat, right? That's not it. What is this wavy thing? Oh, it's these two? Why are these guys not flat? Oh, it's just these reference curves. Okay. That's fine. All right, so this is going to be our inside version. I'm going to flow surf from there. I turned all that off. The misclicks are real today, man. All right, I'm going to flow surf from there to there. That's going to be the inside. And then I'll go ahead and loft these. So as I adjust them, I can see like how it's looking. So right now, these are punching like straight through. But I mean, this side needs to punch pretty much straight through. This side needs to punch at an angle. This side needs to punch at an angle, punch down. So how can we do that? What happens if we just scale off of this corner? Oh, this has lock children on, turn lock off, scale this in, scale the other way. Okay, now we're punching straight in, but this side, let's take that a little bit further. Wrong way. Look at that. And we just got past here. So I'm going to bring it back until it's just about hitting our inside. That looks like a good window. This is angled up and I want it to go down a little bit. So, this reference line for where our finger is, I'm going to project that onto here. Yeah, that's angled wrong. Okay. And then take that and put it onto our, just see how far off we are. Yeah, I don't want it digging in like that. I want the, you know, the part that sits on the finger be fairly strong. So let's break history on that and just get this into shape. So I'm going to lock this because it's my reference. And let's just kind of get it into shape a little bit. All right, let's take a look at this. It sure does look like it's angling up. This needs to come down further. Too far. Okay, we don't want to run into the sidewall of our stone setting. So this, let's scale. I'll just set my... Did I just go too far on that? I'm getting confused. Okay. Did I not say lock? I don't know, man. This is kind of scuffed, I think. What if... I just let it go down to there and then move this side down more. So I still need to match the bottom, but I don't need to care about the top anymore because it's going to angle itself in, so I avoid the stone setting. Thank you, Robert. I don't actually even need it to go all the way. It can go like that for all I care. Oh. Wireless headsets go to sleep if I don't hear anything. It's just so odd that this is angled up like that. I think this side is too low is the problem. Yeah. That side's too low. So I offset this in the C-plane and then float it over, and then it wasn't very accurate when it got over to here. So I'm going to unlock that. See how that was that deviation I was saying. I'm going to delete that and just go ahead and pop this onto show layer, this one. Let's go ahead and project that onto this outer surface. Okay, that's why it was looking kind of funky. Let's flow this. Why is there two surfaces there? I did a copy and paste, select parent, hide that. This is trash. This is also trash. I must have accidentally hit copy and paste. I don't know what I did. But I got the one that was the parent because that'll move. Okay, I'm going to take that and flow surf there to there and lock that. This is our actual guide. So we're not going to worry about this top guide because we're going to cut into a safe zone. But this bottom needs to match. You know what, that is flat, but I think it's okay if I just bring it down a little bit. It'd make it look so much better if these just went down just a hair. So let's take this and let's see. I'm going to grab these points and just do a scale 2D off of here because that's kind of our center line. I don't want to do it a lot. Just like maybe a little bit in. And then we can do the same with this one. We can grab these points, scale 2D off of the center and just eyeball it down to about the same point. I think that's going to look better. Oh, I actually like that better. And the stem is going to hide most of that. There's our cutouts. What layer do we put this on? I'm just going to call this move that under panel 1, duplicate layer and yes to all, and then put that under SP2. SP1 surf, and we can turn all this off. Oh, can't turn all of it off. We can turn cutout off to make sure we get it all where it needs to be. That's our controls. This is the control for SP2. That's our surface for SP2. That's why you turn the layer off. Make sure you click the right one. And these are curves for SP2. All right, I like it. Cutout's done. Now we just need to flow things in place. Do I save all this reference trash? I got a lot of reference trash. I don't think I save it. It's not that hard to create. It's just an intersection. And at this point, if I go back and mess with anything, I know I'm not going to change it radically. It'll be close enough. Isolate, make sure I'm not deleting anything with important. Okay, that's fine. Delete it. You know what? We should probably recolor this one. The other one's a nice mint green. Let's go purple. Okay. Now, how do we get this over to there? That's a good question. I think what we might do is this actually is kind of a perfect like flow panel. Or is it? All right, you guys ask some questions while I'm thinking. Ideally, I would like to have a target surface that's like along this midpoint line. Which for this, it's actually not a problem at all. I could just say extract isocurve, midpoint, midpoint. Isolate that, hide this, and then probably just use like network surface. And then network surface. Can't do that. Let's copy this over to here. Oh, I've already got it. Let's explode that. And do network surface again. So I'm using network surface with no auto sort, so that if I click in the same way from this one to that one, then I end up with the same UV curve direction. So you can see like, I didn't click the same way. I thought I did. Anyways, I have the same U and V. Well, V is backwards. I have the same relationship. You like the small draft for the... Yeah, I do too. I was thinking straight across, but it's going to look better with that little downdraft. I need to... I don't remember what I did different, but I'm going to break history on that so that I can come over here and say dir. And right now, the normal needs to flip. And then next mode, we don't need to swap because I at least did that right. This needs to flip. Next mode, that matches. Okay. So now that those two match, I can take this plus the junk. Yeah, I got all that plus the junk. Flow surf from there to there. I did flip that, didn't I? Yes, I did. This just needs to go down to the midway point. So we just need to be at the midway point of here. We can look at it over here and make sure. Okay, let's stick these on layers so we can quickly turn them on and off as we're looking at things. So this is layout for the side panel 1 surf. And these are the curves. Side panel 1 curves. Okay. Let's turn on you know what? I don't want to see that. What am I trying to see? I want to see the cutout windows. And this. I can tell everything I need from there. So is it sitting in the window? No, we need to bring... need to bring this down. I think I moved it the wrong way. Okay, yeah, flush with the back, a little bit inset on the front. A little bit inset on the front, so when they're sanding the outside of the ring, they don't, flatten our leaves off. We want a little bit of definition between the edge and there. All that's good. We need to get this to fill the frame, and that's overfilling the frame. We can work on that, no problem. I just actually slide this guy over. Hopefully that's the one on top. Make sure lock is on in case it's not. So if we just slide this over, that was not the one on top. Dang it, why can't I get lucky? All right. Slide that over till it fills up the frame. We can make this leaf extend. We can make that like we want to fill up the frame. It won't be hard to do. We can make that a little bit wider. So that really wasn't the tough one. It's this one that's tough because we don't have 4 sides. We've got... I mean, if I just do like 1, 2, 3 and just draw a line for 4, I could do that, but then the stem, if we just draw a line from there to there for the 4 side, this is going to hang off and it's probably just going to look terrible. There is something we could try. I have no idea if it would work. In my head, it works. I'm going to do a save small right here before I delete this, just in case. I'm going to select these children and delete them. I'm going to select the parents on this, which will give me those curves, and delete those 2. Did I have curves on when I deleted that? Side panel 1, curves, yes. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn all this stuff off. Turn that off. Turn our cutters off. What is this? Oh, that was from when I used distribute wrong. Turn lock on. I'm going to go up here to OHub. I'm going to grab these control curves and isolate. Oh, this is too close. I didn't even notice that earlier. Okay. Tween curve. Tween curve is a pain in the ass. Always has been, always will be. But what will absolutely screw this up is if I use tween curve wrong. So, first thing you have to do is check your directions. These are going all different kinds of ways. I need to select both sides from the start to get tween curve to work properly. If I choose this side over here, it's not going to follow, even though these curves all have the same matching directions, which this one doesn't, which is a little bit weird. And I'm just going to go ahead and fix that by flipping both of those. I hope nothing destructive happened. But now when I look at dir, okay, now this flipped. Interesting. How are they related? I didn't think they had any relation. Dir. That one flipped. There's no... Not points on dir. Okay, now they're all going the same way. I can't imagine what the history was between these guys. It was definitely nothing intentional. Okay, so you see all the directions go this way. I'll like, just to remind ourselves when we get into the nutso world that is tween curve, they're all going this way. Okay. Now this is the way you're supposed to do it. You have to go from the start and say tween curve, and I would like 1, please. 1. Okay. We did tween curve. We got 1. Now I'm going to do it from this side. These curves directions match, but I pick the end. Let's look at the direction now. That's a pain in the ass. This is the stupidest little bug in the world, because you want a tween curve where everything's lined up the same way, and them being lined up the same way is important here. That's not going to happen now. I should also check on my model, because I just flipped all those curves and that changes everything else down the line. So turn everything on. Oh, unfortunate. That screws everything up. So I'm going to undo all of that flipping. Let's check on it. Okay, everything's back to normal. But that means I have to look at the dir. Well, okay, I'm just going to remember. The first one, we need to take tween there. The rest of them, we can do tweens all along there. Tween curve on this side. And then we do tween, tween, tween. Check that they match. Yes. Okay. And I remembered that I lofted those by going from this corner straight down, because that's generally what I try and do is clockwise. So I start with whatever's top, and I go not clockwise, counterclockwise. Geometry is counterclockwise. So if I put a point in here and I say rotate off of the center here, and I say 15 degrees. 15 degrees. What? Rotate. Off of 0. 15 degrees. It goes that way. Geometry is counterclockwise. So whenever I'm given a choice, I try and start things from the top and then go around, which is... Normal people in Rhino don't have these problems, but as much history as I use in things, I discover all kinds of ways to make life difficult. Oh, I didn't do my rebuild trick. Okay, so now we are going to rebuild without deleting input, and we're going to do this until we get this down to a nice... I actually don't want this to be super precise. So as soon as I get to like 0.1, I'm good. Okay, that's it. That's all, because this is a flow surface. that might be bad. Maybe I'll go, okay, that's fine. All right, so then I'm going to take those new curves, isolate, and loft again. Okay. This is now, yeah, I'll put it on no hub. And all of these curves that I just made, damn it. Let's turn ohub off. Show selected. I just want these long enough to put onto trash. Ohub junk. Oops. What is that? Oh, for the prong. Okay, so now we have a middle window. If we flow from the top, it's going to twist up the base really bad. If we flow from the bottom, it's going to twist up the top really bad. It's nice to be able to flow in the middle whenever possible. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to take this and this, hide that, copy that, paste, move that over to here. I don't know, something like this. Make sure lock is on, and I'm just going to move this. I know it needs to be like up here and then minus 0.4 and then minus 0.4. Okay, so that'll be in place. And then this guy, I don't know if he's rotated the right way, probably, but something like that. We'll know in a second. And then this needs to be in the middle of it. Sanity check, lock is on. We'll bring this up. Okay. I'm going to turn just surfaces on so I can grab all these surfaces without anything else. And then flow surf from here to here. Pretty close. So we know our frame's in the right place. It's just a matter of like getting this into the right place. Let's move this over just a little bit. Nope. A little bit. Okay. And then let's focus on this one first. So I'm going to put the gumball right here. I'm going to make this a hair longer and wider. Okay. I'm not touching that side panel anymore, which I should probably do. Oh, you know what I can do? Just take and flow these on there, and then I know where my windows are. Flow from there to there. Okay. Let's lock these so they don't get in our way. These curves are meaningless now, so I'll just trash that. Let's see. That's not quite touching. That is touching. I need to make that bigger. We'll just leave that as is. These guys, make sure lock is on. I'm just going to take and like center that in that window. I may need to scale that whole thing down. We'll have to see how it looks over here. Okay. Yep. I think we scale that down so that the pedal is like over here. Sanity check. We're not breaking all of our history. I'm going to scale 2D off the center of pop a center snap on that. I'm going to scale that down. And then I'll do this one separate. Center snap. Let's see. The last time I scaled was 0.85. Let's just do 0.8. Really? Oh, it's asking for reference point, not scale factor. I misclicked. Okay, start there. We don't give it a first reference point. We give it a scale factor. Last time I hate this command because it does that. If you put the scale factor in second, it thinks you're entering in a point value. So the first time was 0.85, so I'm going to say 0.8. And there we go. I don't know how I like that. Did that not flow over? It did not. Oh, because I had it locked to surfaces, and that's a polysurf. Flow surf from there to there. Okay. Now we have our pistol. Lock is on. That'll be fine. So we could do something like that. I want it flush with the back, and this is not going to be flush with the back. So this surface needs to go down. Better get that straight before or up. Okay, yeah, I want it flush with the back, so it's inset on the front. Huh. I can make this actually a lot taller now. Yeah, cool. I like it. And when I get done, this is when I would end up doing that blend surface. Like as a very last detail, I would do blend surface there. Bring in that one. Oh. I thought I did isolate. Can I not unisolate? Damn it. Okay, and then that's going to be that tip. That is dead last. And I'm visualizing like where that point is. I can just see how that's going to loft. I don't like this one so much. I don't know. I just don't have the same proportions they had in their reference one. I'm just missing that proportionality that they had, and I don't like it. My pistol's definitely a lot bigger than theirs. I'm going to go back to having proportioned. Okay, so this one, and come on. Oh, my fingers are doing gymnastics. There we go. We scaled this one at 0.85, so if I scale 2D off of center and do 1 divided by 0.85, we'll get back to the original size, and this one we did at 0.8. So scale 2D off of the, nope. Scale 2D off of the center, 0.1. The size you want to go to, divided by the size it is now, 0.8. Okay, so now they're back to being kind of the same size. I think I just scale everything down. Let's try that first. Scale 2D. Doesn't need to be perfect. Let's go to 0.9. That is trash. We do that last. Go ahead and make it clip through the wall a little bit. Yeah, this is salvageable. That just needs to extend into the sidewall. I could actually bring that up a little bit. And through the magic of history, I deleted those guides. I had a feeling I would regret deleting those guides, but as long as I... Oh, you know what? Maybe if I just say rotate off of the center here towards there. It got a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be, Robert. Okay, so that shortened up that window a little bit. I think if I do that just a little bit more, we'll move this one with it this time. Nope. This. Rotate off of here. Just take that up a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. So it is 5 o'clock. This is almost done, as you guys can see. But I think I'm gonna do the rest tomorrow. This is the bulk of what I wanted to remember about how to make these and get this side profile and to get this to flow without a lot of distortion. Like you guys are seeing me edit this and actually get that shape over here. It's a little bit weird with the inside profile. I didn't see that coming. But knowing that it's going to match up perfectly with our shank. Where's our shank? Like, this is the inside surface for our shank. We've already got the hollow done. We know that this is going to line up. I think, yeah. You know, all the different ways I've made this style ring over the years. Still not fast, but there's no do-overs. I've had to just throw stuff away like this is hideous and it's never going to work, and there's no history, so I can't just change it. So you just delete an entire side panel and just start over from scratch. This has history in it. I can open up this ring. It's a size 9 with all this stuff. Resize this. move the head where it needs to be, and everything will update. You know, change the finger size. The whole ring comes with it. The head doesn't match up, but well, you got to do this, and then you got to scale these guys. You just take these, make sure lock is on, and just squish those down, boop, until they all match, and then you got a different finger size. The whole thing is editable. I like that. Oh, these got to come down with it. No, I absolutely am going to reuse this one day for another job. Either use this side panel in a different ring, or use this this O-hub style for making a different ring. Okay. Yes, I remember. Glad you could make it, Robert. You guys feel like you can take it the rest of the way on, like, you understand where it was going, and like the rest of it is just fiddly work? I really thought I'd be done by, that's 3 hours. That's a long time. I can't believe it took me that long. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to end stream here. If you guys don't have any questions, yes, the video will stay up. The links to all that stuff I showed you guys. Hugo Cole, that's going up to Rhode Island. Whoops. This going up to Rhode Island and rescuing all these rescuing all of these from the scrap bin. It was a great paper that he did. I really enjoyed reading it. So, and then for next year, think about the new jewelry symposium. All the same people that I'm used to seeing at the Santa Fe symposium, just under a new brand name, because the great Eddie Bell is actually retired now. He used to keep doing the symposium even though he was retired from Rio, but now he's retired from this as well. So good for him that he has a wonderful shop that he gets to go and play in. But the links for all this are in the video. How can I watch this without it starting? Like, pause. that would be, oh, it would start at the beginning. That'd be a bad feedback loop. So all the links are in the video. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm out of here, guys. I will see you later. And if you have any questions, the link to the Discord is in there as well. All right.